Hot Mic is brought to you by Red Wing Shoes of Fargo. Built to last. 3003 Main Avenue, Fargo. College football season is over. Indiana is the champs. More on that. Plus, the Bison men hit the road trying to take their first place record with them. Hot Mic begins now.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo. Dom Izzo.
Good Tuesday morning. Welcome to the Things Are Changing edition of Hot Mic on WDAY Extra, KSFL TV. Good morning, everybody in Sioux Falls, KNBN in western South Dakota, and all parts in between at Inforum.com. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Great to be back. 20th day of January. Let's keep this shot up here for a second, if we could, for our talented crew and back. I've been doing this show in this studio for 6 full years come next week. And for those that have been with us the entire time, we've had a few staples here. We've had the 2 computer monitors next to us, right? The monitors behind me, and that's it. Everything else we've changed. The chairs aren't the same. The microphones are different. The phone has been constant with me next to here, and that's the bat phone in case anybody needs to call me, apparently. The other constant is gone. To my right, and for those watching, you'll understand, the big audio board was here next to me from the very beginning because that was installed in this room when we designed it way back in 2019 as a podcast studio. We were going to do all these podcasts down here, and we're going to produce them, and I think I was the only one who was actually in here. Capel was in here for a little bit, but that was it. We did like an Ag Week podcast. I don't even think we do that anymore, but that was going to be here. And then we moved in, and the audio board stayed. And that giant thing has been next to me. For people that have watched and seen me go and be back here and press buttons and turn around and from the microphone, it's never good television. That's been the case. And now I take a day off, and I come in today, and I look over, and it's gone. So now when we take the straight-on camera shot here, it's wide open space. I got to figure out what to do behind me now. Look, there's dust back. Look at this. You see the dust back there? Look at this. That's there. That's 7 years worth of dust because there's nothing that's been cluttered. Got to clean up in here, apparently. Holy cow. And with that, welcome to the show, everybody, here on a Tuesday. It looks great. Because now, by the audio is all running because we got our newfangled studio back there that's been working on for the last about 3 months or so. Piecemeal over that time. And I think about 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago today, 2 weeks ago tomorrow, we had it all wrapped up. And now here we are in the 21st century now in this room in 2026. Better late than never, but we're rocking and rolling. Great to be back with everyone. Thanks to Sam for filling in for me yesterday. Spent the day with the Jackman yesterday. That was entirely too much fun, but ready to rock and roll here to get this week going, at least for me, today. And we want to hit things right away because today I have a dentist appointment later this afternoon. And this is almost similar to the last time I went. My 6-month checkup was in July. And that day we were having our WDAY picnic, and I was hemming and hawing about should I eat before we go to the appointment. And we took it to a vote. It was landslide eat, which I did. My hygienist said that was smart because I didn't want to go there because it's right in the middle of the day. It was a little bit like 1 o'clock, I think my appointment was in July. Now, I found out yesterday, on top of the fact that I missed the audio board getting yanked out of here, that apparently it was Popcorn Day at the station, or National Popcorn Day. We got a day for everything. And I missed out on that. Which popcorn is top? I mean, when we talk about snacks for me, that's in the top 6, top 7, easy. And there's still leftovers upstairs. Now, the dilemma is it's tempting, but I have to go to the dentist at 12:30 today. Again, right in the middle of the day. It's just the time it works out. So that prompted, I was thinking about it here, is coming into the station today. This is where my mind goes. What is the worst food to eat before going to the dentist? So we put that out there. Our poll question is out today. Is it popcorn? Cool Ranch Doritos seems like that's you hate going to the dentist. You hate your hygienist because that seems like it would be terrible. Chili I put up there, and not Benel's chili or whatever he likes to eat. In fact, I got a funny story about that from the Bison basketball game. If we have time, we'll tell it either today or we'll get into it tomorrow. That Bison, a viewer of our show, came up and contributed to that. So vote now. We already got plenty of votes coming in. I'm pretty sure I think I know what's going to win. So I'm going to stay away from the popcorn now. It's going to be a test of will. Helps out that I'm doing the show. But maybe afterwards, depending on how the appointment goes, then I'll be able to partake. So we're hitting the hard stuff here to start our program. And with that, we can get off and rolling. As we sit here now on the 20th day of January, I can officially tell you that the college football season is over. 20th. Next year, it's even later. January 25th, I believe, is the title game next year in Las Vegas. So when we talk about the calendar and college football and getting stuff, we got to fix that first off. We can't have 2 full rounds of the NFL playoffs come and go before we play the college national championship game. That's let's just say it, it's stupid. Right? We have to fix that. We can't have the regular season end on Thanksgiving and the end of the season is 2 months later. Not in football. Not when the max games you can play is 4. Like hockey, I get it. Hockey and basketball have a 16-team postseason, right? That takes 2 months to play. The NFL has a month. Playoffs start, whatever it is, the second week of January, and the second week of February, we're playing the Super Bowl. College football has 2 months. That we just, of all the stuff that's wrong with it right now, and there's quite a bit, we got to fix that one. We can't be playing. I had numerous head coaches, Division I head coaches, messaging me this. I tweeted this out yesterday, and I got at least 3 or 4 unsolicited responses that you're dead on about it. We can't be doing this now. That being said, and also, like today you're waking up, and what's being spoken about in all the major sports shows is about the NFL openings. Like Sean McDermott got canned yesterday in Buffalo. We're getting ready for the championship games in the NFL. It's not about the game last night. There'll be some lip service to it, and then we're going to move on. And if you're college football, the second most popular sport in the country, you got to be better than that. You got to find a window like around New Year's Day, which has always been college football's time, to corner the market on that. It's just on the list of things that the sport has to address. Now, once we get actually on the field, like last night's game, it was great. I mean, we've had some duds in the CFP era for national championship games. Outside of a couple of Clemson, Alabama thrillers, Alabama and Georgia played at overtimer where Tua hit the game-winning touchdown there. We've had more clunkers than we've had great games. Last night was a great game. Indiana and Miami, in Miami's own stadium, played a heck of a ball game last night. And the fact we wake up this morning with Indiana as the national champs is a head-scratcher. The game was a kind of a snoozer to start until finally the Hurricanes got going on this 57-yard touchdown run by Mark Fletcher that made it a 10-7 game. Here, Indiana's special team's been great. They had 3 blocked punts coming in. Here's number 4 with Isaiah Jones falling on it. We had about 18 surrender Cobra shots in the crowd after that. Even Carson Beck gave us one. It's 17-7. You think Indiana is going to put the hammer down. But back comes Miami. Malachi Toney's a really good player. That screen pass goes for 20. Little razzle-dazzle, get Fletcher in for his second touchdown, and we got a ball game here early in the fourth quarter. It's 17-14. Fernando Mendoza is extremely likable. It's hard to dislike the guy. This play alone is going to be shown about 3 million times between now and the draft. That's at Assembly Hall, the home of the Hoosier basketball team. This is just an unbelievable individual effort to outstretch, take a shot, and get in. He took a couple late hits last night. His mom and dad loving it. His mom, of course, is stricken with MS. It's 24-14. Miami, though, comes right back. Toney scores. That from 22 yards out, so it's 24-21. Indiana needs a national championship winning drive. Mendoza had a couple balls here. This one, a huge one on 3rd and 7 that kept Indiana on the field. Set them up for a field goal because they converted 3 third downs on this last drive. Here, Miami gets a stop, holds them to a field goal, so it's 27-21. So Carson Beck, getting some pump up from Ray Lewis on the sideline, has one last chance. Here on 2nd down, miscommunication there. He takes an absolute shot. Let me tell you, the refs, I think, from the Big 12, they let him play last night. Maybe there's some detriment. After a first down pickup here, Jamari Sharp comes up with a game-sealing interception. Beck, who had led Miami to a thrilling comeback over Ole Miss in the semis, can't deliver here. The Indiana Hoosiers, the losingest program in college football history before Curt Cignetti became head coach, win the national championship. 27-21 over Miami in what was a great ball game last night. Mendoza wins the Heisman, wins the national championship on top. We've seen players that have won the Heisman Trophy and then not play well in the bowl game or not play well in the playoff. Mendoza was unbelievable. He had more touchdowns than completions in the Rose Bowl. He was fantastic in the Peach Bowl win over Oregon, and he was solid last night. That rushing touchdown is going to be talked about for a long, long time as Indiana completes a 16-0 season. And we heard this throughout the broadcast, and this is going to sound like Homer grapes or however you want to phrase it, because they kept saying, well, Indiana's the first college football team since Yale to go 16-0 and win the national championship. And I was here to tell you, and I wasn't the only one to put the brakes on that. Here are the list of teams, because there's just more than Yale. Yale did it, and believe me, I did a whole story on the 1894 Yale Bulldogs when the Bison were about to complete their 16-0 season over Curt Cignetti and James Madison. The 2019 Bison, yeah, I know it's FCS. It's Division I AA, as Mel Kiper still calls it. Well, yep, they still did it. I can tell you, Yale played like 16 games in like 60 days, and they weren't all against college teams either. Be that as it may, they did it. The Bison did it, ironically enough, against Cignetti's team in Frisco, Texas in January of 2020. Ferris State just did it. The Division II champions, because the tournament expanded, you'll remember, Division II went to 32, I want to say, and Ferris State played 11 regular season games. They played 5 postseason games. Ferris just did it, and now Indiana can add its name to the list. That's it of 16-0 college football teams. So when you hear it today and say Indiana was the first to do it since Yale did it in 1894, impress your friends at trivia, folks, because that's not right. Ferris State just did it a couple weeks ago when they won it in McKinney, Texas, and North Dakota State did it against Cignetti's own team and James Madison. in 2019. Unbelievable. And it's just a great story. Mendoza's going to end up probably being the number one pick in the draft. The Raiders were there. Owner Mark Davis was there. Tom Brady was there to get a firsthand look at Mendoza, which is intriguing that they were so frontal in it before the game that you saw all the Raiders bigwigs. John Spytek was there, the Raiders general manager. It was they made no bones about it, obviously, with the number one pick coming up in late April. It's an unbelievable story because it doesn't happen in college football. Cinderella's happen in basketball. It doesn't happen on the football side of things. And granted, Indiana's got a large chunk of NIL behind him now. Cignetti, they hired the perfect coach at the perfect time. Indiana had been, I guess, according to its president, I'm not following Indiana sports. Why would we? Until the last basically 2 years since Cignetti left James Madison, that they were organizing their NIL, that they were in position is what the president said, and we're just looking for the perfect coach. And obviously they got him, and now Indiana was one of those teams, like for Minnesota, you could mark it down like that's an automatic win. The Gophers have got Indiana on the schedule. Boom. That's a win for the Gophers. That is not the case anymore. And already the early preseason for the 2026 championship, co-favorites are Indiana and Ohio State. Think about that sentence. No one's uttered those words before, but that is reality now after what happened last night. And it's not like they're going to fall off. I don't believe so. Cignetti's already got a stacked recruiting class. He's already tapped into the portal and found some really good players. Impressive. Impressive to see that. And I know for Bison fans out there, they can hold it over that NDSU beat two Cignetti teams, the 19 national championship, played in January of 20, and then the 21 national semifinals here. That was JMU's swan song. They were moving up to FBS the following season, 2022. And, of course, went on to great success in the 2 years that Cignetti coached James Madison at the FBS level in 22 and 23. And then he leaves to take the Indiana gig and rolling out with the Hoosiers. Amazing. And that's it. College football 2025 we can put to bed. And we begin the quest for 26 with if they're going to expand the playoff or not. They got 3 days to decide it if they're going to do it for next year. That's the next big topic up for debate. Last thing before we get our show rolling, the other sporting event that was going on, it was a busy day yesterday. MLK Day, NBA took over as they have. NHL had a bunch of games. The Wild were playing last night. They were continuing their road swing after they got a good win Saturday afternoon in Buffalo. They were in Toronto last night to face the Maple Leafs. For you hockey nuts out there, if you've never been, and I can humble brag here quick, Toronto's awesome city, cleanest big city I've ever been to. And the rink is Air Canada Center, as it used to be called. Fantastic. The Wild certainly found it was to their liking. Up 1-0 when they add to it here on a Ryan Hartman goal to make it a 2-0 score. Pick it up now. It's 2-1 in the second. Marcus Foligno had a night. There is fourth of the year on a tip shot from Brock Faber. It's 3-1. Wild are down, too. No Boldy not playing. Joel Eriksson Ek is out. So two of their studs, two guys are going to the Olympics. It's 3-1 when Tarasenko scores. His second. Tarasenko couldn't find the net in the first 2 months of the year. Now he's got 11 goals. That made it a 4-1 score. They weren't done here. They scored 3 in the second period. On the power play here, Foligno will get his second of the game, parked out in front to tip it home. Made it a 5-1 Minnesota lead after 2 periods. The Leafs would draw closer, get it to 5-3, and then they pull their goalie. Foligno able to complete the hat trick, his first career hat trick on a big night from Tarasenko at 2 goals and a helper. Minnesota goes into Toronto, beats the Leafs 6-3 behind the first career hat trick from Marcus Foligno. So a nice start to this road trip after they were terrible at home. You know, they went on the road and played 7 straight. We're 4-3 away from St. Paul. They come back home. They lose 3 games. They go out on the road and they win their first 2. They got a quick turnaround. They go from Toronto to Montreal, another awesome city. They'll play the Canadiens coming up tonight. We got a packed show coming up for you here today on this Tuesday morning. Our guest lineup is brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. Coming up at 9:35, our guy Mike McFeely will stop by, chat whatever is on Mike's mind. We'll do that at 9:35. At 10 o'clock, North Dakota State men's basketball head coach David Richman will join us. Bison men are in first place in the Summit League. Sam talked all about it yesterday after the huge win over St. Thomas, knocking off the tied for first place Tommies on Saturday in front of a good crowd. Good game at the Shack. We'll visit with David about now. Heading out on the road, they got Denver on Thursday and then Oral Roberts on Saturday night. That's coming up at 10. And at 10:35, Tim Brandt will join us. Cheyenne boys basketball head coach. Big night in the EDC. Cheyenne and Davies are playing tonight. Anytime that happens, it's worthy of our attention. We'll preview that and chat about his team right in the hunt in the EDC. Davies is there. Horace is there. Cheyenne is there. West Fargo. You got a bunch of teams at the top. We'll preview that coming up at 10:35. That and a heck of a lot more here on a busy Tuesday. We'll take our first break. We come back. For those that have watched our show in the past, you know how big of a day today is for nerds like me. It's Baseball Hall of Fame Election Day. Who's getting in? We'll discuss that on the other side of the break. Back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We had a huge Tuesday night. A couple games for you here on WDAY Extra and WDAY 2. Hockey tonight here on Extra, Grand Forks Central and Moorhead. Early start time, 6 o'clock from the Moorhead Sports Center. And on WDAY 2 tonight, little Class A basketball between Kindred and Central Cass. Coverage there at 7:30 on a busy sports night. It's Tuesday in January. Goes without saying. Hoops and hockey coming up tonight. Depending on your channels, you can stream them both as well on WDAY Plus as well. Okay, so I teased it before we went to break. For the baseball nerds out there, today's a big day. Myself included. I'll raise my hand because I am one. There's only so few of us left. Today, we will find out if anybody is going to be joining Jeff Kent. Still shaking my head. Former Met great Jeff Kent is part of the 2026 Baseball Hall of Fame enshrinement class. That'll be announced later today on MLB Network. Now, the great Ryan Thibodeau, if you don't follow his website, which is the Baseball Hall of Fame tracker, if you're into this stuff, you're missing out because it's fantastic. And the voters for the Baseball Hall of Fame, you have to be a baseball writer. They've changed a little bit of the guidelines. It's the most stuck-up group to be part of. They don't allow any broadcasters in there, which is the dumbest thing ever. They've got people on there that haven't covered baseball in 30 years, but if you cover it for a certain amount of time, if it's 10 years consecutively, you're into the Baseball Writers Association, so that means you have a Hall of Fame vote. And it's it's the hardest Hall of Fame to get into. If you've never been to Cooperstown, first off, I can't strenuously tell you enough to do it. Even if you're not a huge baseball fan, it is well worth your time. How people have clung to this as the hardest vote to get is a bit absurd to me. That's a story for another time. But we're not in a prime class of players is probably the best way to decide it. Last year, we had a couple of slam dunks that were going to get in. Ichiro got in, which was near unanimous, as it should have been. CC Sabathia, which, again, fantastic pitcher in the early 2000s, again, slam dunk, and with Billy Wagner. This year, there are a couple that seem like that are likely going to get in. And I'm intrigued because they were very, very good. I don't know about Hall of Fame good. And these are guys right in our wheelhouse, watched all the time. Carlos Beltran is likely going to get into the Hall of Fame. He's tracking right now of the public ballots at 89%. You need 75 to get into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Beltran got 70% of the vote last year in his third year on the ballot. He's going to get in. Now, is it a Kansas City Royal or is a Met, which I would be Beltran was one of my favorite players. I have 3 Carlos Beltran jerseys under my stairs in my house right now. When the Mets signed him in 2005, that was after he had the most unbelievable playoff ever for the Astros in 2004. I think he had like 8 home runs that postseason. Couldn't have been more jacked. In 2005, he was bad. He was not good. 2006, he was phenomenal. The Mets were a game away from the World Series. Really, really good player. Andrew Jones is polling at 82%. And again, this is of the, I think half of the ballots have been made public, about 250 ballots out of the 500 that are out there. By the way, here's Beltran's traditional counting stats impressive. 435 home runs, 2,700 hits, 1,500 RBIs. That's Hall of Famer sounds it. Andrew Jones, less statistically wise of a Hall of Fame, like, slam dunk. I think everyone will remember him from the 1996 World Series. He hit 2 home runs when the Braves got out and pounded the Yankees. I think he was 18 years old at the time. He had a really good career. Again, I don't know if it's Hall of Fame career. We're going to find out later tonight. Felix Hernandez is really intriguing. Hernandez is polling at 55%. And you're going to see his numbers and be like, well, Hernandez was pitched on a team. The Mariners were never any good when he was there. He's got a perfect game. He finished with 169 wins. Again, in this day and age, no one's getting to 200 anymore, let alone 300. 169 wins, ERA of 3.42, a whip of 1.2. That's really darn good. He won 19 games in 2009. His Cy Young winning year, he won only 13. Thankfully, the voters smartened up and actually gave it to him. Chase Utley is a really interesting example. I should call up our buddy Chris Coast on that. There's no bigger Utley fan than Coast, former teammates with the Phillies, polling at 68%. Utley has no fans in New York, but he was a really good player. This is his first year on the ballot, along with Cole Hamels, another Philly great who won the World Series MVP when the Phillies won the World Series in 2008. Those are the obvious ones. Andy Pettitte is on there at 56%. Mark Burley. Again, these are all contemporaries. For people my age that watch baseball, these are guys we watched all the time that are now up for Hall of Fame induction. I think 3 are going to get in. I think you're going to see Beltran in, and I think this is counting Kent as well. It's a great year for the former Mets. Beltran in. I think Andrew Jones gets in. Maybe a pitcher, maybe 5. You'll see. But again, we're not in that era where it's just automatic slam dunks. Hall of Fame announcement comes up later tonight, 5 o'clock. MLB Network will announce anybody joining Jeff Kent as part of the Baseball Hall of Fame class of 2026 in Cooperstown, New York, one of the great spots in this country. All right, we'll break. We come back. Mike McFeely will join us in his usual Tuesday time slot. That's coming up when Hot Mike returns on this Tuesday morning. We're back after this.
I have seen the future, and he was wearing number 5, and I ain't talking about Robbie Grimsley, folks.
Took out the muffins, took out the trail mix, took out the cookies. They stole the monster cookies.
Wow, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Let's do some broadcasting.
Yeah.
Broadcasting with our guy, Mike McFeely. He joins us each and every Tuesday. You are a Big Ten guy through and through. You grew up watching University of Minnesota basketball.
Yes.
You've told me many times about that. So I'm just curious your thoughts of seeing the Big Ten's Indiana Hoosiers winning not the basketball championship, but the college football championship.
First of all, let me make clear that I did not watch 1 second of the game, and I have not seen one highlight. So all I know is the final score and a couple of texts from you guys last night. I went fishing last night.
Good for you.
To heck with this football stuff.
Well, it's January 20th.
The
season should be done.
Which is fine. No, I mean, it's not something you would have ever, 5 years ago, you would have never said, oh yeah, Indiana has a chance to win the national championship. You just would have never said that. Yeah. I mean, they were just so bad. And so for this to happen it's completely 100% a nod to the transfer portal NIL era. That's what it is. And whether you like that and you say, what a great story, and the portal and NIL have leveled the playing field for if Indiana can do it, then anybody should be able to do it. If you're a Gophers fan right now,
absolutely.
You know, all this stuff that, I mean, you should be able to look at it and go, well, okay, it's Indiana. It's Indiana. Like, even as mediocre as the Gophers have been for 60 years,
They were better
They
than
were
Indiana.
better than Indiana by a lot.
It was, yeah, they weren't like just a shade better
No,
than the
it
Hoosiers.
wasn't
Yeah.
even close.
Uh-huh.
You have to look it up to see, like in the last 50 years, what's Minnesota's record against Indiana? Probably 43-7 or something. I think that's it. And if that's what you like, then okay, then it's a great story.
Yeah.
If you don't like all the movement and you don't like all the chaos and you don't like kids, leaving, and then it's bad. Then you want to see the old model.
To me, it shows. I think you're exactly right. There's some parity there where it's not. You just can't write down the same four teams. They're likely going to be in it, but now it's opened up for like an Ole Miss or a Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was
really good.
Was good
they
at
could
football.
and they're getting guys, including 43-year-old quarterbacks who are pretty good.
Don't want to be done.
Yeah, right. So again, it's all, and when the viewership comes in for this, I assume it's going to be massive.
Pretty good.
And the bowl games are all up. Going right to where your wheelhouse is here about television. Woo! It's all about television. The bowl numbers are huge this year, massive this year.
People like watching football on television.
But my point is that guys like me are going, oh, I don't know. This is okay. It's gone too far, and it's just I don't know anybody on the teams anymore, and so but the numbers, the data shows that America is loving the chaos.
By the way, the graphic I showed here, it says where the 2025 football national champions are located. First off, they ignored the FCS champions on there. I'm a little miffed on that.
Well,
do we count Indiana?
Does that kind of show you where FCS lands in the?
Do we count Indiana as part of the Midwest and Michigan? Is that I didn't consider them Midwest.
Yeah,
you're a Midwest. I can't say I'm a New Yorker, so I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I would.
Okay.
Yeah, I would.
Really?
I think the Midwest.
Where does it start?
It starts on the Minnesota-Iowa border and then goes east from there.
Okay.
I think Indiana and Michigan are the Midwest. Yeah, I would say so.
See, I would think it would be like Illinois and that farther over, not Indiana. Like Ohio's not Midwest.
No,
right?
But Indiana's just south of Illinois, correct?
Indiana, it's right next to Ohio, right next to Illinois.
Yeah.
It sandwiches Ohio and Illinois.
Yeah, so I would consider Indiana. I mean, southern Indiana's like the South.
Correct. Yes, we've been there.
And so, but yeah, no, I guess for the sake of a Twitter graphic, yes,
it fits the mold there. I wanted to chat some hoops with you. I know Sam did yesterday, hot and heavy on the program. You were at the Bison men's game, both last Wednesday against the Jacks and on Saturday against St. Thomas.
Yeah.
David's going to be coming up here in a little bit. Bison men are right now in first place, 6-0 in the Summit League, where fans came out. Is it time to actually start saying, hey, this team may have a shot to win this thing?
Yeah. I mean, you had them like winning the whole thing like a week ago, and I kind of pumped the brakes a little bit for you. Like, both teams are going to win it. Just, whoa.
Did I sound like that?
Yeah, just, whoa. Just long ways to go there, Captain. Just, whoa, everybody slow down. But no, they're good. I think the Summit League so far on the men's side, right now there's two teams that are separating themselves. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I've been in injured reserve all weekend with the thing. And so we'll see. UND, as you mentioned in your Summit shoot-around, they're better than we thought.
Yep.
But we'll see. I mean, it's a long season. Still 8 games left, I think, in the conference.
10 actually. Bison are 6-0. They have 10 games.
Yeah,
to
okay.
go, so
That's right.
We still got
That's
ways
right.
to go.
We're not down to 8 teams yet.
Next year.
And so we'll see. But I think it's NDSU and St. Thomas. That was a good ball game on Saturday. It's a little bit of a cage match.
It was.
It wasn't exactly as up and down as I thought it was going to be. But that's St. Thomas is vulnerable. I know that you love St. Thomas and that you're going to send Jack there, and you're just you have a
better get another job.
You have a man crush on Johnny Tower, and so you and the Twin Cities media are like, why don't you just move there? Why don't you just move to St. Paul? I mean, my God, it's like they're good, but they're not like they're that good. I thought they looked. They don't have any length.
I texted you after the game that exact thing.
They don't have any length. They don't. Yep. I think NDSU is longer and bigger.
Yes.
Certainly, St. Thomas is talented. They're very well coached. But they're. I mean, the way you had them and the way that Chip Scoggins and Royce have them, it's like, my God, I thought they're going to come in here and just steamroll the whole town of Fargo and leave us burning and flat. But NDSU played them and outplayed them
I
actually
think
down
South
the stretch.
Dakota State's going to be hurt from. What did you make of watching the Jackrabbits in their game against the Bison last Wednesday?
The men?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wrote it on Twitter. I said they're good, but they're nothing like they've been.
Yeah.
They're missing Douglas, like a kid like Douglas Wilson. I don't mean they're missing him specifically. They're missing Mike Dahm. They're missing Baylor Shireman, who by the way,
your guy
is. I got my wife to admit last night.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, she's a A1 Celtics fan,
Yep.
and there's one school, being that she's a Bison fan, that she dislikes a lot. More than almost every other school.
2 and 2 together on that one.
And they wear blue and yellow. Yeah. And so she has never been a Baylor Shireman guy, especially since he pushed off on Sam Griesel in the Summit League championship game. But I got her to admit last night, because he was playing pretty well off the bench for the Celtics last night against the Pistons. And I said, I know you're going to hate me for saying this, but Shireman's been pretty good off the bench. She's like, yes, he has been. I'm like,
that's pretty good.
I'm like,
glowing
whoa!
flowers. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, hey, wait a second. Can I get you to say that in my tape recorder here? It's like, nope. And watch yourself. So
she went a bridge too far there. He's averaging 3 points a game. Started a couple games for Boston.
The stats don't matter. He's doing some things off the bench that matter. Yeah. And he's not like a seventh guy. He's the ninth guy, but he comes off the bench and provides minutes.
Boy,
but
that's
I got my wife to admit
something there.
that Shireman is playing okay for the Celtics and helping them out in a better than expected year for the C's.
We'll dive into on the women's side after the break here. On just wrapping up on the men's side, how many teams in your mind can go to Sioux Falls and win it?
Oh, right now, 4, I suppose.
Okay.
But we'll see where they are after. We still haven't got the full rotation of the league yet.
Not everybody has played everybody yet.
And so, and teams have gotten some tough teams at home, but haven't played them on the road yet. And so we have to see that. But I'd say the 3 Dakota schools and
St. Thomas.
St. Thomas, yeah. And maybe that'll change. UND, Sather's doing a heck of a job up there.
Yep.
And I think, like the coach in Fargo, he's wondering what he's going to be doing next year.
Yep.
So maybe it's time to, not to tell Bill Chaves what to do, but maybe it's time to start figuring it out. And maybe it's time for the guy in Fargo to get his extension too. But we'll see. The UND isn't very efficient offensively. They don't necessarily shoot it great, but they play defense and they force their whole bit is forcing turnovers.
Yes. Yep.
Their whole thing is forcing turnovers.
They did against St. Thomas and they nearly won that game on Thursday.
Yep. And so if they're forcing more turnovers than they're committing, they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
If they get in a spot where they're not, if they're turning it over too much, then they're going to be in trouble. But for now, he's sort of changed around the way that they do things up there, like the guy in Fargo has too.
Yep.
I mean, you look at Dave Richman. Okay, let's talk about this. It's fair to say that there is a portion of the fan base that's like, I've seen this movie. Maybe it's time for everybody to sort of move along.
Go their
here.
separate ways.
And I think the fact that, as far as I know, he does not have an extension yet. As far as I know,
beyond next season,
I believe right. So beyond next season, I don't believe that he has an extension
at the current time. No.
Right, and so clearly, maybe there's some of that going on internally. Like, okay, let's see what we got here. But if you look at what he's done the last 3 years, he's like had 3 completely different teams.
Totally.
And played 3 different styles.
Yep.
And last year, I mean, the injuries, they got hosed. And that was just bad luck. Had nothing to do with Dave. But they went down to Sioux Falls, and they had a chance to compete for the championship, and they lose Jakari White and Jackson Money, and they lose in the first round to South Dakota. But he built a team that won 23 games or whatever, finished 3rd in the conference. They weren't like some powerhouse great team, but they completely changed the style. To Dave's credit, like last year's team, I kept watching the bench to see if he was just going to go poof, because it was completely
antithetical. Yes. To how he plays.
To how he wants to play.
Completely.
And they made it work.
Yes.
And had a team that should have gone to Sioux Falls outside of the injuries that should have had a chance to compete for the championship.
Win a couple games down there.
This year, completely different team again, and he's totally changed up his defense. And now they're aggressive, they're pressing.
Yep.
They're pressuring. And again, that's not how he has played.
Rebounding.
That's not how they've always rebounded.
Last year they did not rebound.
But that's not how they're built.
Right.
But historically, but historically, they've always sat back and said, we're going to force you into a tough two-pointer. Yeah. And this year they're pressuring. They're doing all these different things. Yeah. He's got a team with a bunch of different skill sets. It's like, the guy deserves some credit.
Yep.
Give him some credit. He's changed with, I think it took him a while.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him about it, but I think it's took him a while to, I know he hated the portal. I can say that.
Yes, absolutely.
He hated the way the things were going when it first started.
No doubt. But now, seemingly he's figured it out, at least find the players to come out that'll work here.
And so good for him.
Yep, absolutely.
And in Grand Forks, I'll say this. You have to decide what you want to be.
Yep.
Like what kind of program do you want to be? And I know that Paul, the record has not been there. I understand that. I think he's had 1 year with a winning record.
Yeah.
But how are you going to get to a winning record in Grand? That's a really hard job.
He's also got some pretty good players to come up there. Look at who's left there.
Yes, that's a really hard job in Grand Forks to be the men's basketball coach.
Yep, I agree.
And so, do you want to?
What do you want?
Do you want to get some JUCO guy that's going to come in and be a used car salesman that brings in 15 new guys a year and wins 25 games and then he's out of there in 2 years? Or how do you want to do it in Grand Forks? That's the question.
Absolutely. Let's break. We come back. We'll chat on the Bison women now sitting in first place in the Summit League and their big win over South Dakota State. We'll do that and we'll wrap up our first hour. Dave Richman coming up here in about 15 minutes as well. Back on Hot Mike right after this. Wrapping up our first hour. Dave Richman coming up in just a few. Mike joins us here for our second segment. I want to devote some time here every Tuesday. ESPN updates its bracketology for both men's and women's basketball. Yep.
Let me check the date here. Just a second.
It is.
What is it? Go ahead.
What is it?
My phone. Today's January 20th.
January 20th. ESPN.
And before you say the men's bracket, can I say just one more thing?
Yes.
You have to win the Summit League championship.
Yes, to make the tournament.
To make the tournament. So the bracketology in terms of the Summit League
is whoever's in first.
Doesn't matter. And I say this to you every year, and every year you ignore me.
I'm sorry.
Go.
Bison as a 15 seed facing the Houston Cougars in Oklahoma City. Now that would be a tough matchup.
Yes, that would be Duke-like from 2016 or whatever year that was when they played Duke and Zion Williamson.
On the women's side, Michael, this is where it's interesting.
Now, this is worthy of discussion.
Okay. The Bison women currently as an 11 seed facing North Carolina State in Lexington, Kentucky.
Okay, that part about it, I don't care about that
As
part.
11 seed is important,
Yes, so
right?
that part's important. That's fun. And the other part is what you and I have talked about it, but you got into a little bit in your Summit shoot-around. And we're a long ways away.
Absolutely.
Let me say, we're a long ways away.
Have 10 games left to play in conference play. They still have to have the Jacks come here. They got to go to Vermilion, too.
Yes, so many things could happen.
And UND.
That's not wow. Was that a cheap shot, or what was that? What are you doing there?
That's not very good.
No, it's just a bad one. If NDSU, and again, long ways, they could lose to St. Thomas tomorrow. Who knows?
Could.
I mean, just whatever. But if they were to run the table or just lose to South Dakota State at home.
So 15-1 in
and end up
play.
with like 25 regular season victories, whatever. And then get to the championship game in Sioux Falls and lose that.
So they have lost twice to Summit teams.
Yes.
And under that scenario.
But I think only South Dakota State I think in both scenarios.
Yep.
They could potentially get an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament.
I would take potentially out of that. I think if your net ranking is still in the – if you're in the top 50 in the net –
I don't think when it comes to Summit League, I don't think you can take potentially out of it ever.
Just because the league has a history, they've gotten a couple teams in it before, so they have at least that.
Only a couple times,
Yeah.
and those were two really good South Dakota and South Dakota State
But
teams.
your point is the Bison cannot lose to a team other than SDSU if they want to keep that scenario alive. They can't lose to St. Thomas. They can't lose to Kansas City. They can't lose to Denver, Omaha.
If they lose to St. Thomas, just
Right.
as an example,
Yeah.
if they lose to St. Thomas tomorrow, then that scenario's off the table.
Correct them.
Totally. Then they
Yep.
have to win the tournament
Yep.
to get there.
Because their net ranking would totally plummet. Right now, the net is at 44.
42.
They're moving to 42 now.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn good.
It is good. And if they continue to
Yeah.
win, they're going to creep up a little bit, you would think. And, I mean, so let's say they get the Jacks. Let's say they run the table totally and
Okay,
finish
16-0
in the league.
Okay.
And then for sure, if they get to the title game
yeah.
and lose to the Jacks there.
I think they're in that.
Because you talk about separation, there's two teams. And I guess USD, we'll see where they are. But,
Yep. Yeah, it's clearly, though, that 1 and 2 in the league is Bison Jackrabbits.
but this is what, Bison women's basketball fans, what is left of them after 20 years of irrelevance.
Correctamundo.
I mean, this is what you've been waiting for.
Yep.
I mean, they're good.
With a player that is as talented
Yes,
as Avery
and so
Kunin is.
I jotted down some notes. So
I love when you get notes.
Avery Kunin is 4th in the country in field goal percentage at 63.6%.
That seems good.
She is tied for 3rd in the number of double-doubles, 13 double-doubles in 18 games.
Wow.
She's tied for 6th in defensive rebounds per game at 8.3. And this is in all of division. This is 363 Division I basketball teams. If anybody has a sinus replacement surgery out there, please let me know, because sinus infections are no fun. And she is 9th in rebounds per game overall at 11 rebounds per game.
Wow.
So she's averaging a double-double. She's good. She is the leading candidate. Her and Brooklyn Meyer right now are the leading candidates for Player of the Year in the Summit League. NDSU's women's team is 15th in the nation in field goal percentage.
Wow.
Tied for 12th in winning percentage. Obviously, they're 16-2. And then they're 24th in points per game. So
pretty good.
I mean, they're good. You can't put too much emphasis on one basketball game in the middle of a 31-game or 32-game season, whatever it is.
That was a good one to get, though.
But you, at some point, you have to beat the Kings. It was like NDSU in football all those years, right? At some point, South Dakota State had to beat NDSU to say they're in the same neighborhood as NDSU. They did that.
I didn't see them winning in Brookings, though, Michael. I thought if they get them, they were going to get them here. That was surprising to me.
It wasn't a fluke.
No.
I mean, it was not. It wasn't something where South Dakota State shot 12% or had 40 turnovers. It was. NDSU just outplayed them down the stretch in the second half. So
good stuff.
They're good.
Yeah,
they're good. And if I'll say it again, okay, the attendance has been better.
Yep, come see them. They play at home.
They should have a lot of people at their games. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And they have a player that's going to be highly coveted whenever the season is done.
Well, you got to
you
got to go right there.
But it's fact. We got to go. I hope you feel better, man. Go get some medicine.
You have to.
Right?
I have already. You have to enjoy her while she's here.
Exactly. That's the point. Good to see you.
So sad.
I know.
I mean, good for her. I'm not, but do what you want.
You got to do. Yep. Good to see you, man. We'll talk to you later, all right?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming by.
Yeah.
Hope you feel better.
Yeah. Me too.
Mike McFeely joining us on a Tuesday. We'll break. We come back. Dave Richman will start hour 2. We'll chat about his first place Bison. That's coming up. We come back.
This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY.
WDAY.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Just like Dom's outfit, they're not always pretty. Sometimes they're really ugly. But
Just been all over Amazon and just about every site looking for these mustard pants. And
My wife will tell you she wants to burn mine. People actually listen to your show.
They watch.
They watch it.
Yeah.
play defense in that first half like Dom transitions to you after the game. It's way too long, way too lazy, but
You got all these answers. I'm going to bring you over and have you do our non-conference schedule.
I'd love to. I'd love to go to Grand Canyon,
I would
man.
love.
Hey,
well,
you're
you
doing
can
that
come with.
game.
That's not the thing.
I love when you're on Dom. You're so transparent. And I'm like, so two things are happening. That one, people are watching your show, listening.
yes.
Right? That caught me a little off guard. I'm just being honest.
We know people are watching. It's that time on a Tuesday. North Dakota State men's basketball coach David Richman joins us. His appearances are brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. The first-place Bison men are on their way to Denver, and Oral Roberts coming up this week. Before we get going, I just pointed out I had at least a couple people, at least 3 people come up to me for the game Saturday and say, I love your segment with Dave. I watch it every single Tuesday. So I'm telling you, people are tuning in. They want to know what's going on.
Do we have proof of this? Like, what are the numbers? There's got to be some kind of analytics.
I'll get it to you. I know you love your statistics, your analytics. I'll get it to you after the show. Don't you worry.
It's like this. It's kind of like this, and then on Tuesdays at 10, it just
absolutely. There's no doubt.
Absolutely. And do I need to get this out of the way? Do I need to take my shirt off here right away?
Hey, I was gonna save I got the soundbite for later. We'll save it. Don't you worry. We'll play it coming up.
Oh, I couldn't do that to you. Nobody needs to see that, including me.
How would you best describe Saturday's game? Was it a rock fight, jungle cage fight? How do you describe the matchup with St. Thomas?
And how do I say this? I just say, listen, St. Thomas is a really, really good program, and what Johnny's done through this transition, I got a ton of respect, and they got some tough dudes, and they make winning basketball plays. And I am so damn appreciative and excited for the spirit and atmosphere, and really glad that we got the victory. I didn't think we played great, Dom. And again, that and a part of me, I can't believe I'm saying those things. We made some big time plays in some winning moments, but our defensive energy, wasn't what it's been. Our rebounding, didn't sustain. When we built leads, we've talked a lot about those knockout punches. We didn't find those knockout punch opportunities. Now, that being said, listen, the amount of people that you say are watching your show are the same amount of people that are telling me how much fun they're having watching our group. So let's make sure we're really crystal clear here. I absolutely love this group. We're 6-0. It's a great place to be in. We're having a lot of fun doing things that we love to do. But we got to stay on it. We got to stay on it. If you're a coach and you're not continuously learning, shame on you. And you watched Indiana football, and a couple things that I've really picked up on from Cignetti is production over potential, right, which makes obvious sense, and then human nature. And maybe it's just because I hear it, but I went into practice pretty teed up yesterday, and the fellas felt it because I want to make sure that human nature doesn't take something away from us.
Was it more just, I don't know, lack of execution? What did you make for that on Saturday? St. Thomas, I'm sure, had something to do with it, but I know you're gonna tell me it's about us, about your team. What did you make of that?
They did, and that's why I want to be. St. Thomas is good. They're really good, and they're certainly a part of it. But maybe there were some things, that as you really, really deep dive into it, they were doing some things that were making us that way. But I just think sometimes it's human nature, and I think when threes fall, it's awesome.
Yep.
But for whatever reason, when they don't fall, when they fall, it's like we relax on the other end or some things like that. And so we got to keep our foot on the gas.
Tell me, Damari had one basket on Saturday and ended up being basically the game cinching play. How, in your headspace like that as a basketball player, is it easy to get frustrated when nothing's falling, but then have a play like that develop where he goes and basically seals the game at the end?
I did, we talk a lot in our program about endurance. We talk a lot about emotional stability, and we talk about it for those reasons right there. I think a lot of kids, are done when they miss three in their head. You see their dauber hanging, and you see all those things. And, I've said that a lot about Damari, just like his competitive spirit, his leadership, his maturity. And you saw it. He was present, right? And again, now he didn't shoot the ball extremely well, obviously. But I mean, that's such an easy thing to look at really quick. And I know it shows up in the box score. There's a lot of other things that young man is doing to impact winning.
The fact now he's got 2 of those game-winning baskets so far for you this year, just describe what that – obviously we know what it means because it ends up being a W in the win column. But what does that do for you and your team to say, we got a guy at the end we know can make a clutch play?
Yeah, we got a guy, and I think there's some – other guys in the locker room too that would have something to say. Like we have multiple guys, and I think that's why Damari can go make those kind of plays because of how the floor is spaced and doing those things. But yeah, and Damari talks about it, and we love it, and it's kind of being 6-0. It's a privilege, right? It's not pressure, and with responsibility and privilege, you just go out and play. It shouldn't be a stressor to you. And Damari's obviously very grounded in his faith. He works extremely hard, and so those moments are too big. He's able to be present no matter how things have played out. And in a lot of ways, the Omaha first half was gross. It was ugly. Damari's first 9 shots were gross. They were ugly. But when it matters, he's been present, and he's very convicted in who he is, and he's not going to be deterred. And I just think that's a winner. That's competitive spirit.
I asked you about this after the game Saturday. I want to give you a larger platform about your bench guys Saturday, whether it be Noah Federson, Emil Skuta. I thought Tay Smith. All three gave you some huge minutes. Describe what they did to help you win that game on Saturday.
Yeah, first off, and then I will touch on that because it's such a great point, but I did a really poor job afterward. Like Andy Stefanowicz, in that game in particular, he was making some shots, but like he's just the constant, right? Like he's just here, it's steady, and you're seeing some things. Obviously, Damari's made some big plays, and Travion Carson, and what Trayson Anderson's doing, but Damari's just day in, day out, and I hadn't done a good job of celebrating Andy, and I'm not an individual guy, but he's just been absolutely terrific, and I made mention of that to the guys, in front of Andy yesterday. But you're right. Like we've talked about it. There's certain things like you compare, right? And comparison can be the great stealer of joy. But like we didn't feel like we were, maybe as as efficient as we were last year. Missing Jackson, missing Jakari, and Mason Miller, and some of those guys. But I have talked about it, a lot about our physicality, our length, our athleticism, and also our versatility and our depth. And I think it's a great strength. I just had 2 meetings already this morning about guys, with Carson Smith and with Riley Massey that I think are really good basketball players. And I think too, the other piece to that, Dom, is because of that, we're able to have really challenging competitive practices. And when you can challenge and compete in practice, that makes you better win games. But really happy for Emil. He's had some adversity this year of learning a new system and having some injuries. Clearly, Fetty's been having some adversity of being basically a 3-year starter and now coming off the bench. And in 2 times now he's been called on. He's delivered.
Yeah.
And Tay Smith, again, you talk about a guy that at the beginning of the year, first 2 games he started. And I think he's learned what Bison basketball is about. It's great when he's making shots, but there's a lot of other things you need to do to get yourself on the floor. And he's rebounding the basketball. He's competing defensively on the ball. It's been fun to see.
Okay, we have not spent a whole lot of time on Emil and how he got here. Can you give us your conversation on that? Because this is a clear example of where we're at with college basketball in 2025, 26.
See, we should have these conversations off air because this is embarrassing. How did he get here? I don't know. Basically, he showed up one day, pretty much. It's literally the portal.
Yes,
it is.
Yes.
It is.
That's my point. I was asking about.
Yeah, Josh Jones is in the portal, doing the thing. Kind of makes some traction with the kid. He sends me some clips. I'm like, yeah, he looks pretty good. We find out there's a connection. Because we had already had Max Marley committed, and they were together. They were actually roommates. At Central Michigan, so that helps. And then here he is, and I say that like a little tongue in cheek, a little bit joking, but you're getting to know the guys, you're doing these things, but in between Oregon State and UC Davis, he had some uncertainty, and it was just finally you just sit down and you really conversate, and it was a good, healthy, emotional conversation where we're really learning each other, and then you feel like you make some traction, and then he gets hurt, and he's playing a different position. I think the other thing that we have to understand is when these guys come to us out of the portal, they have habits, and some of those habits are good, some of those habits from our standpoint aren't so good. There's trust. Hey, here's what had happened in the other program, and I didn't like that, and now there's this guarded personality. of, okay, is all programs like this, especially for an international player? And I think it's been really healthy because after time you can see the growth and clearly some of it's health. But Emil said to me one time, Coach, I need concrete. And it's really helped me. It's my first international player, that I've coached. And so sometimes even the language barrier is different. So I will have a conversation with Emil,
Yeah.
and then I will look back and go, do you understand exactly what I'm saying? And this is now after he's probably been swearing at me in Finnish. But I can't get mad at him because I don't know.
So he said
Into
something
that
really
language.
interesting before you came into the room on Saturday when asking about playing in front of the crowd. He said, I've
Yeah.
never played with a crowd like this, at least on my side. To have
Yeah.
that, it's amazing and really gives us a boost. And that's interesting because you and I have been on this show. We've done it for 6 years now, talking about getting people out to the games. He sees this as like that's an unbelievable atmosphere, and it was, and it can be that all the time.
Yeah, but I've always said that too. It's not like
Yep.
he's just saying,
Yep.
But I do think it's cool. I think it's really cool, and those are the little things as you go through a season you continue to pick up on. And I'm, he was at Sac State, he was at Central Michigan. I don't know what those crowds were like. Clearly they weren't white like they were
No.
this past week, according to E. But yeah, and I think too, just the way he played, the black eye, the blue collar mentality, like he endeared himself too, and the fans get behind that, and just what an awesome Wednesday night with the students in particular, and Saturday ran it back like just a lot of fun, just like it's college basketball, man. It was great.
What was it like before we go to break, walking out Wednesday, getting ready for the game, and see that section right by your bench? What was that like for you before the Jackrabbit game last week?
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool, and we've had a lot of behind the scenes talks and conversations, and there's a lot that goes into marketing and getting fans there, and I'm a firm believer that at the end of the day, the students. I mean, we got a great facilities, we got a very good product, but the students kind of set the tone for the party, and people get behind it, and I as you know, probably even on the court, you can say this too. I have no clue what's going on in a game. But I saw the pictures afterwards of those students, and I think Wes put it as our profile header now on X, and the fat heads, like that's it, man.
That's exactly
Let's do
right.
this. Let's keep doing it.
Let's break. We come back. We'll chat about the upcoming road trip matchup to Denver, and then Oral Roberts as NDSU men's basketball coach Dave Richman. Conversation continues on the other side of the break. We're back right after this.
I think if I were to take my shirt off, which, I gladly would here on Dom's show or something like that, that's exactly what I look like. Chiseled, just a specimen like that.
There it is. That's the immortal words from the men's basketball coach. I believe you were asked about Emil Skuta, and you were describing if he were to take his shirt off, and you volunteer. Here you go. The floor is yours. Absolutely. Go for it.
That never happened. You can AI everything, and I never would have said anything like that because I'm probably more chiseled than Emil, And I'm gonna keep our ratings high.
Yes, I appreciate
I'll
that.
keep my shirt on.
So you got a little road trip here coming, Denver and ORU. I was joking with you before you came on. This is Swan Song of going to Denver because obviously they're leaving the league after this year. Tim brought a handful of his guys from MSU Moore to play out there. They're certainly scoring. They're letting everybody getting scored on. What do you anticipate for a game out there on Thursday night?
Yeah, I know we're really excited for a great opportunity, and we've talked to our guys about just being a Bison in general because of our successes and a lot of the great things that we have going on within our state, university department, all those things. You have a target on your back. Well, and then now you show up to a place and you're 6-0, you're going to have a bigger target on your back, and you have a former Bison, on their team. You have, Berge, who's just been right across the river for a lot of years and had a lot of success. He brings some players with, and I tell you what, it's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for a challenge, and we're going to get challenged there. They have been elite in the country offensively. The Carson Johnson kid, he can really go. But I know we're excited. We're excited to continue to compete, and we're excited to be better. And I feel like our team is fighting and finding great ways to win, but has so many options to get better too. And that's what this weekend's all about.
You feel like this is I know you probably roll your eyes at this word, gritty group. Is this a team that resembles you and how they play?
So I'm gritty.
Well, that's what you like. I mean, that's kind of what you and I would, yes, I would say that. Yes.
Well, there you go. I do. That's a compliment. I don't know if a lot of people would say that's a compliment. Yes, absolutely. This group they fight, and I love that. I would get my butt kicked in a lot of fights. That's just the reality of it. But
hold on, have you ever been in a fight? Have you ever been in a fight?
This is the ratings. We don't want them to continue to skyrocket. Like there's probably evidence out there.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
Well, there may or may not have happened on live TV one time. Technically, I wasn't involved in that.
Oh man.
But I'm completely lost.
No, you're talking about your team.
Take my shirt off again.
No, do not do that. No, talking about your grittiness of your team.
Yeah, no, you can execute, right? Like you can set a perfect angle on this screen and you can do all these things, but like if you aren't ready to fight, if you aren't ready to compete, and we talk analogies a lot, obviously in our program, and I refuse to say this is war, this is battle. We're not coming anywhere close to that, but we've talked a lot about getting into a ring, and you're gonna spill some blood. You're going to get a black eye. You're going to take some things in the chin, and that's the reality of it. And the other thing too to this group is they, knock on wood, when big moments have been present, they've been present, and different guys have been present. I think that's the beauty of this group. Whether it's, even guys maybe like you wouldn't expect to at times with Noah Federson, has just been absolutely dynamite in closing some games. So I've always been a fan of Big Ten basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I used to get a lot of crap, before Strage came in here and, fixed our offense about, grind it up. But I don't care what it takes. I don't care what it takes. I don't know how you get it, as long as we have one more point than our opponent does. In a lot of cases, that's how it's been in these first 6 games, and we're not going to be apologetic about it.
I know. I think Wes put the photo out there on Saturday afternoon that your guys are in your locker room area watching the end of the women's game Saturday down in Brookings. Describe what that was. Seeing your team do that, and obviously Jory's team getting a big win on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, really, really cool. Jory is. Jory's like this at work. Like he's just, on a path, and certainly we have a great professional relationship, and I think that's extremely healthy when your men's and women's coach, they're on the same page, and we can communicate about some things. We can talk some X and O's. We can talk recruiting. We talk a lot of things. But he's become a really, really good friend of mine, and him and his wife Casey and their 2 boys, they're great. And for me to sit here and have a front row seat to watch that rise. Bison women's basketball was not in a good place when Jory Collins got here. And he hasn't taken shortcuts. It's been a grind, and really pleased. And I think too, I said this too on my radio show last night, Matt Larson, does a tremendous job of talking about Bison pride. And we've done some things now with the SAC group to programs supporting each other. And I talked to other coaches that have left and gone to other places. NDSU athletics is different because of Bison pride and because it's a Bison family, and you have teams not jealous or envious of each other, but supporting each other. And what a really, really cool time to be a Bison basketball fan. Bison, just a Bison fan in general.
Last thing before we go, since you're flying tomorrow, are you a window or an aisle guy?
Window.
Really? Okay.
Two things. One, I like to be able to rest my head on the window, not against the random person here. Like I think through this stuff, as you know.
Yeah.
And then the second part is I actually enjoy flying, but I don't love like the claustrophobia of it.
Yeah.
And so there's not much I could do out the window, but as long as I can see out the window, then I feel like I have space.
Yeah. Now you're a big deal. Do you have any? You got the next seat open, I'm assuming, right? You're that kind of guy.
Oh, I'm a real. Well, actually, sometimes I just fly the plane. I'm that big of a deal. Nope, not. I'm back there, and
because
we're not PJing around everywhere like you get to do.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, people would sign up and have you and I sit next to another plane. Now, that would be entertaining. I don't know who would tap out first.
But I would have to sign up for that first.
How long would you? Because my wife is like, "Are you going to stop talking when we've flown before?"
Hey, if I randomly just put my headphones in, that means shut the you-know-what up. It's time to be quiet. I'm done.
Oh, man. Safe travels. Thanks for the time, as always. We'll see you next week, okay?
Appreciate you.
There he goes. David Richman joining us, NDSU men's basketball head coach. His appearances every Tuesday are brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. Eric can vouch for that as well. Next to me on an airplane. Probably not. I want to talk. Come on. I can't imagine that would probably go over well. David probably have his headphones on about 18 seconds after we sat down. Bison at Denver, that comes up Thursday night, 8 o'clock, and then it's a night game Saturday at ORU. Let's mention it now since he's off. The latest bracketology today with Joe Lunardi, if you missed it earlier and you're just joining us now, Lunardi has North Dakota State as a 15 seed facing the Houston Cougars out of the Big 12 Conference. Bison right now are in the mid-130s in the net ranking as you wake up this morning, 134. St. Thomas is at 122. They were at 117 with St. Thomas. They dropped, and the Bison zoomed up a few spots with that victory. They're, again, what Mike said is dead on about it, and then we'll go to break. You have to win the tournament to go to the NCAA tournament, the Summit League that is, and you're likely looking at, if it's the Bison and St. Thomas, as a 14 or a 15. Anybody other than that, it's a 16. I'm telling you that right now. Just look at the net. SDSU is next at 181. After that, if there's something crazy, if it's Denver or Omaha wins it, they are looking at maybe going to Dayton as a 16 seed, like the Bison did back in 2019. NDSU's better than that now. They're net at 134. Warrants maybe the last 14 seed or the first 15 seed. That's just the name of the numbers right now. Let's break. We come back. We'll talk some high school hoops on the other side of the break. Biggie tonight in the EDC with Sheyenne and Davies. Mustangs head coach Tim Brandt will join us to preview that when we come back on Hot Mic right after this. Welcome back, everybody. We mentioned we got a busy high school night. It's Tuesday night. Central and Moorhead in hockey here on Extra coming up at 6 o'clock. Class A hoops tonight, Kindred Central Cass on WDAY2. It's Tuesday, which I can remember my anchoring days. That meant, all right, how many games can we get to tonight? And I'm looking at EDC schedule tonight. Horace is at home. West Fargo's at home. Cheyenne's at home. Means there's a lot going on. That Sheyenne game got our attention tonight because anytime Davies and Sheyenne playing hoops, we'll chat about it. It's great to welcome back to our show boys basketball coach of the Mustangs. Tim Brandt joins us as Sheyenne welcomes in Davies tonight. It's a Tuesday in January. It goes without saying, right? You got stuff going on.
Sure. It's exciting. It's freezing cold outside. Let's play some ball.
It's great to see you, bud. Tell me about this year's team. And we had Adam Palczewski on a couple weeks ago. You guys played a barn burner with West Fargo. Where are things at with Sheyenne hoops so far this year?
We've sort of been a tale of two teams so far. You know, we struggled early before break. Struggled to score. Defensively, we're all right, but just we couldn't put the ball in the hole. Since break, we've gotten some things cleaned up. Played and have played really well. We're 4-1 since the break. That one loss coming, like you said, against West Fargo in a 2-point game in overtime. So we're playing some good basketball right now. We've figured some things out. Christmas break couldn't come fast enough for us. We had a tough stretch early. Not a lot of time to just practice time. We played 5 games in 12 days to start the year, and just it was a grind. So yeah, we're playing a lot better after break, and so it's kind of been a tale of two teams for us right now.
Was that expert coaching over the Christmas holiday that turned things around, or what do you attribute to that?
I would like, I would like to say that. But no, it's our kids showing up and just being prepared to work and listen and be coached and all that stuff. And I kind of alluded to the lack of time to practice before break. And we played that first Friday, which means we had 9 practices.
Yeah.
3 of those practices are tryout days. We have 80 kids in the gym. Can't really get much done. That first Saturday, we went out to Jamestown and scrimmaged. You're playing, but you're not really like teaching. So you really have 6 days of practice before the first game to get anything done. And then, like I said, it was 5 games in 12 days. Our last game before break was December 16th, and then we didn't play again until January 2nd. So we had a nice chunk of, but that we needed it.
Yeah.
We needed that time to really focus on us and get some things done and figure some things out and have some conversations and establish some roles. And our kids have taken to that really, really well. And I think you've seen that the last few weeks.
You got to play, and this is now with the new schedule, you got to play 4 teams out of the WDA, though. Did that help to get where you're at now?
It absolutely did.
Yeah.
It's, having, like I said, having those games that you can really try to figure some things out and it doesn't count against your conference record was huge for us. It was Williston, Bismarck High, Mandan, and Minot. And having that time to get, some things figured out, and we had a good amount coming back from last year, but we still had some question marks and just we didn't know what certain things would be as far as rotation and all that stuff. And having those first 4 to really work on some things and try to sharpen things up was important.
So the game before the break you had was against Horace. I mean, when you go home that night, are you thinking, I don't know what our team is? Like, what was going through your mind after that game?
Well, you have that little sign on your desk that says Serenity Now. So it was a lot of Lloyd Braun, Serenity Now and Sanity Later, type of thing.
Yes.
It was more so like just trying to be patient and trying to, tweak some things and just move some things around and having some conversations and like I said before, getting some things figured out because we hit the ground running and we just didn't have a lot of time for that. So after that game, I would like to say that, everything was great, but it wasn't. I mean, that going through a stretch like we went through, I think we played 4 games and I think we played 5 before break, but I think we were averaging about, 58 to 60 points a game in that stretch, and that just wasn't great. And for us, it was, we were averaging 20 turnovers in those 5 games.
Yeah.
Since break, we've cut that in half, and it's been 10 a game, which is right. That's really good. And our scoring average has gone up about 25 points, and it's amazing what happens when you take care of the basketball. So that's been a big emphasis for us.
You got 3 guys in double figures averaging so far. Tell me about the couple leaders of this team that have turned things around for you over the last few weeks.
Yeah, our three leading scorers right now are Kyson Keller, Chase Spielman, and CJ Smith. Kyson's 15. I think Chase and CJ are 10. But then we got a couple other guys at 9. We got a 7 and a couple 6s. And, we're 4th in our league in scoring right now, and our leading scorer is, I think, the 13th or 14th leading scorer in the league. So, I mean, it can come from anywhere, really, from us. We have a lot of talented kids, and we got a couple kids now since break that are playing a lot better and doing things that they need to be doing. I would like Kyson's our leading scorer. I think so far this year, Chase Spielman has been a guy for us, one of our guards, who's just been super steady. Even in that tough stretch, he was a kid that was just doing everything for us. He was scoring, he was rebounding for us. He was one of the leading offensive rebounder on our team, and he's 6'1". I mean, the kid is just playing really hard and doing everything that he needed to do and just be a leader. I mentioned CJ. CJ's a shooter. He can catch and fire from anywhere, and those kids have really stepped up. And seniors, I mentioned Case and Bernstein's another one that we returned that played a lot last year. Tanner Craich is a kid who's been playing a lot better after Christmas break and just doing some really, really good things. So like I said, it's sort of it's an ultimate team effort from us. We don't have one guy that's going to score 25 a game. We got a bunch of guys that could score 12 to 15 a game, and we can hurt you from a lot of different places.
I'm interested. I remember, here's me back in the day, when you guys were the new guys on the block, new kids on the block. It's not the way anymore. No, Frank Horace has been around enough now, but how has that changed the dynamic in West Fargo? Because I remember it was always you guys trying to punch up against West Fargo, and then you did that. Now with Horace on there, how has that changed the three-school dynamic that you've seen out in West Fargo now?
It's those games are always rivalry games. It doesn't matter who we're playing, if it's West Fargo or Horace. Obviously, Horace being the new kid on the block, you maybe focus on them a little bit more. But I don't know. Those games are always super intense. It doesn't matter which school you're playing, and obviously we've seen what Horace can do. They're relatively new, but they're good.
Yeah.
They're really good, and we experienced that right before break. We basketball in West Fargo right now between the three high schools it's really good.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which school it is. We all have some good programs here and really well established and it's fun.
Let me get the old broadcaster cliche. You could throw the records out when Davies and Cheyenne play, but tell me about Bart's team that you're going to see tonight.
Well, it's they're different this year, obviously. Without Mason Clabo has been there for forever, it seems like, and thankfully
10 years,
he's gone
right?
now. Yeah, seriously, and it's good. I'm glad he's gone, if I'm being honest. But they're good, and you mentioned Bart. They're really well coached. You can tell by watching them play. They don't make many mistakes. They don't take a ton of bad shots. They don't turn it over much. So a game like tonight, it's going to come down to who can execute. Who can finish plays, who can do those little things a little bit better, because they're not going to screw much up. They're going to be pretty sound and they're going to execute some things pretty well. So we got to be pretty sharp and focused if we want to have a chance to win.
You've been doing this now. Obviously, you were assistant with Tom forever. Now being a head coach, what about like a Tuesday night? What gets you really ready to go outside of the opponent? Excited to do it. What is it? As the day goes on, like, man, this is why I signed up to do this.
Really, it's just loving to compete, to be honest with you. And that's something that we try to work on every single day in practice with our kids. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You got to get up for the game. You can't sleepwalk through anything. And I mean, especially with an opponent like this tonight, you're playing a Fargo Davies school who's been at the top of the league for as long as I can imagine. So it shouldn't middle of the week, freezing cold outside, playing a really good team. It shouldn't be difficult to get up for this one.
Where are we at, Tim, in your evaluation of boys basketball in North Dakota, product wise? Player-wise, how do you evaluate it right now?
To be honest with you, I think kids now are more talented than they've ever been in our state. They work on their game. They get in the weight room. They spend a lot of time with it. So I think it's in a really, really good place. I think we got really talented kids across the board throughout the state and really good basketball teams.
Is it more just skill? They spending more time in the gym? What do you attribute that to?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. There's just so many more resources out there now, and there's so many people, so many more kids that are willing to, get in the gym and focus on it for a longer stretch of time. Yeah, I think kids are just more willing to do that nowadays and just work on their craft more.
It's fun to watch, honestly. You see some of these guys that are getting, and then honestly, the amount of, and you follow the AAU game as well, just the guys are going out there and the high major offers that are coming back. I think I would get used to this, and I still don't when I see a Power 4 school come into North Dakota or into Fargo and offer a kid. It's just like, wow, this is still pretty darn cool.
It's really cool.
Oh.
It's really cool. And you see so many of these multi-sport athletes getting, you mentioned Kindred earlier, my wife teaches down there. So a kid like Brooks Bacco, I throw out there a lot and he's getting Michigan offers in football and he's a really, really good basketball player. He's probably going to get some collegiate offers playing basketball too, I would assume. We talked about the Kinnebrew kid from Century and how talented he is, and those offers are going to start coming. And it's seeing these kids doing what they're doing around the state is special.
All right, last one, random one. What is the angriest or maddest you've been on the basketball floor? Has it been in a referee, I'm assuming?
Well, yeah, kind of. Well, man, I had a really good one last year. I can't remember who we were playing, and my kids still talk about this. I think it was South.
Okay.
And I think we had a lead at halftime, but I wasn't real happy with how we were playing. We were kind of sloppy. We were turning it over. And it's one of those situations where you get so mad and you start saying things and you just afterwards, you're like, what did I just talk about in there? I think I kicked the door down in the locker room and busted the door open and walked in and sort of went unglued a little bit. And some of my kids still talk about that. It's like, yeah, you remember halftime at South or against South last year? I mean, you kicked the door shut and all that stuff. And like, yeah, I vaguely remember it, but I was in a blind rage for about 15 to 20 seconds. So that one was a good one.
It was a memory burn for them. Apparently they got. It's great to see you, bud. Thanks so much for the time. Good luck tonight. We'll chat down the road, okay?
Appreciate it. Thanks, Dom.
Good to see you, bud. There he goes. Tim Brandt, head coach of the Cheyenne boys, Mustangs, and Davies coming up tonight. Part of a huge Tuesday night of hoops. It comes with the territory on a Tuesday night. Got a lot going on, wrestling, hockey, basketball-wise, and we'll keep you abreast of that. Highlights, Riley will have all that coming up tonight at 10 o'clock. You mentioned up the top, and we were visiting briefly off air about what are the 4 teams that could make it to the state tournament this year out in Bismarck. Davies certainly there. Horace and them played the other night. Davies got them. You got West Fargo there. Cheyenne. That race for that 4 spot be intriguing with Cheyenne, Shanley. South's got some outstanding athletes. Here we go for the final 6 weeks of the regular season to find out who's going to be the top 4 going off to the event center in Bismarck in the middle of March. We'll take our final break. We come back. We'll put a bow on things, get you ready for a busy Sports Tuesday. Answer our very important poll question when Hot Mike wraps on WDAY Extra after this. All right, wrapping things up here on a Tuesday. Later in the week, we will have West Fargo native, former Bison standout, and Iowa State offensive coordinator Tyler Roll will join us on Thursday. Also, Matt Larson, North Dakota State athletic director, will be here in studio, I believe, on Thursday as well. So an action-packed show coming up on Thursday. Looking forward to that. Matt's going to be here for about an hour. We're going to hit everything. FBS chatter included as well. So don't miss that. That's coming up on Thursday on the show. So I started the program, first chatting about the audio board isn't here. We're going to have to decorate some stuff back here. Although you can see a picture of me and my lovely wife now without anything in the way. Also about the lateness of the college football national championship game. Brett McMurphy, who we've had on the show, tweeted out the future college football playoff national title games for the next 4 years. Next year is January the 25th. Jan 25 in Vegas, then January 24th in New Orleans, and so on, the 22nd and 21st the years after that. Rhett Lashley, who's the head coach of SMU, tweets this: something has to be done. College football has to end sooner. We don't need 2 to 3 weeks between the end of the season and the playoffs starting. Jan 1 end is ideal. Max 1 week later. Push the season up. Get the games played. We continue to do things that don't make any sense. And he's spot on about that. Figure it out, college football. I understand they don't want to play head-to-head against the NFL. Then work with the NFL here, right? If the NFL wants to play at night, then maybe you play during the day. Something. We cannot be playing this late. January 25th. Next year, the FCS championship game is slated right now for Jan 4. So there'll be 3 weeks between the end of the FCS season and the big boy division? Come on. That's insanity to me. What are we doing? And under this scenario, they would have 2 weeks off after the semifinal game prior to the championship. And I know you're saying, well, wait a minute, that happens in the FCS. Yeah, but we're playing every week prior to that. I mean, there was 2 months between the end of the regular season and the title game. Is just fix it. Let's do some what to watch before we get out of here. Oh, wait, we got to do our poll question. Yes, more importantly, because I got a dentist trip coming up here in 90 minutes. Worst food to eat going to the dentist. Yeah, popcorn overwhelming because National Popcorn Day, so I'm going to have to hold off. 67%. Doritos got 25%. I appreciate it. I have some at home. I will abstain from those as well. Now we'll do some what to watch. A popcorn is teasing you, though. All right, we mentioned we got hockey and hoops tonight. Central and Moorhead coming up at 6 o'clock here on Extra, and hoops with Kindred and Central Cast at 7:30 on WDAY2. Minnesota Gophers in action tonight at The Ohio State, 5:30 on the Big Ten Network. And the Wild and the Wolves are both playing. The Wolves at the Jazz at 8 o'clock. The Wild at Montreal at 6. Highlights of those coming up tomorrow here on The Big Show. Our thanks to Dave Richman, to Mike McFeely, and to Tim Brandt. If you missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. You can watch a full replay on WDAY+. Have a great Tuesday, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.